And now, she worked for many years as an educationist, traveling far and wide. But when she retired, she ventured into traditional art as a way of keeping the culture of her people alive and also create employment for women in her community. Her hard work and perseverance led to the creation of what is now known as the Sirigu Women's Organization for Poetry and Art, SWOPA. Well, we've got a lot to discuss today as the world marks International Women's Day. I will be bringing you the particular story on this woman who is the founder of SWOPA later. But I've got Angela Alorwu-Tay. She's Oforiwa, thank you, Alorwu-Tay. She is MP for Afajato South. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, madam. And happy Women's Day to you.
Happy Women's Day to you.
It's good to know that we have women in our parliament where our laws are made. And a lot of young girls get inspired by people like you. But tell me, from where you sit, assessing the impact of women, our influence, are you satisfied? Are we on the right track?
50%. But let me take this opportunity to say good morning to your viewers also. We are doing well, but we are yet to get to where we want to get to. As to influence the numbers at the various institutions. Do we have women CEOs? Do we have women MDs? How many women do we have in Parliament? But even Parliament, we deal with rules, or we go by rules, so that one is not a big deal. But then at the various institutions, from the senior high schools, how many headmistresses do we have? And so about the influence, I think we do have, but we can't say we have so much of it.
Tell me your experience becoming a parliamentarian. How was it for you?
I started as a politician with the National Democratic Party. I contested several elections, lost them in 2012. I contested the primaries and lost to the incumbent. And thank God I became the DCE for 4 years. And then from there I became the MP. I cannot tell you that it was easy. It was very difficult. Politics has to do with yourself, the energy you have, the people you have around you, the money aspect of it, and how well you are able to tell your people or convince them that you can perform as a politician when the mandate is given to you.
Let's talk about family. You've told us a bit of having some turbulence within the political space, but how did your family support? How was it for you?
I was lucky to have a husband that understood me, even though he was a Jehovah's Witness. And you know, Jehovah's Witnesses do not allow, or their religion, the religion doesn't allow them to do politics. Exactly. But he didn't prevent me from becoming a politician. What he wouldn't do will be for you to come home and start complaining. Oh, this that is difficult. Is that he'll say, hey, you wanted to do it, go ahead and do it, and I'll not be part of it. If you need money, he'll give you, but he'll give you money for what you want to do, and he's not part of it, you know. But unfortunately for me, 3 months to the primaries, I lost him, and that was a blow because he was the backbone, and then the advisor and the reader of my speeches as a chief executive, and he was the mentor. And so when I lost him, I thought I had lost the battle. But one day I asked myself, I said, okay, assuming I was a teacher, would I have stopped teaching having lost my husband? Then I said, okay, Angela, wake up. So just after burying him, 4 weeks after his demise, after the burial, I went to the campaign trail. Started a campaign in black. And then at a point, you are talking and you are crying. But at the end of the day, I won. I won the primaries. Then getting to the main election, the only sister I had died 2 months to elections. That was where I nearly gave up. But then again, I looked at my 2 boys who had so much, or who have so much confidence in their mom, not to disappoint them. And luckily I won the main election. And so family-wise, they have been very supportive.
Knowing the kind of society we live in, did you receive any backlash for going back onto the campaign trail after your husband died?
Hey, I was the one who killed him. I sacrificed him so I could be the MP. because I had lost the 2012 primaries, they said, oh, if I hadn't killed the man, I wouldn't have been able to win. So that was the reason for killing him. Then the worst happened when my sister, who had been sick for the past 5 years then, died. Hey, this is the seal. Like I used her to seal the deal. And so definitely I was going to win the primaries. It was terrible, it was hectic, it was demoralizing, and your own colleague women will do that to you.
You talk about your own colleague women.
Yeah,
that seems
some
to
of
be
them.
That seems to be something that you have to live with. I mean, growing up as a girl, I always heard women are our worst enemies. We are enemies to ourselves. Is that the case? Forgetting about your experience with regards to going into the elections, is that statement a true statement?
You cannot give it 100% deal or say that it is 100% true. Some women are very supportive of women. Take somebody like Betty Maud, take somebody like our former women organizer, Anita De Soso. They will encourage you. They did encourage me when I started in 2010 and lost the election in Tamale. But some also will just go at you, because if you are unfortunate and you happen to get a woman that has ever dated the man in the race, you are dead. Aside that, they don't also understand that you can do it, some of them. And so we can't say that it is every woman who is at the neck of another woman. No. I would say 60-40.
Interesting. Let's come to Parliament, where you work. That's your base. And it's interesting that on all the committees, we don't have a woman chairing any. How do you feel, the Women's Caucus in Parliament, about this? Do you ever talk about it?
I have never thought about it, but I know it is true. But then I'm just wondering, I think the deputy majority leader it says as, I need to check. But then aside that, the rest of the committees have been chaired by.
She supports on the appointments committee, but she's not the chair.
Yes, she deputizes, I believe, yeah. Well, I have no words, but then that is what is happening.
But how do you feel as women? I mean, is this something that bothers you? Do you consider it? Is there a certain procedure to get women at that level, if I may say, in Parliament?
I don't know. I don't know what they look out for. Competence also. They also look out for what you have, your credentials, and then they also, I think, look at the ability to do it well. Every woman in Parliament can chair a committee. As to how, or most women in Parliament can chair a committee, but as to why it happened that way, I cannot tell. And I had never given it a thought till you just mentioned it. I just mentioned.
All right,
and so that one.
All right, we'll talk more about Women's Day, but let me take you to that story about this educationist who's traveled far and wide.
Yeah.
But here's what she decided to do when she retired. She decided to venture into traditional art as a way of keeping the culture of her people alive and also to create employment for other women in her community. Here's a story from our Upper East correspondent, Albert Sori.
The Sirigu Women's Organization for Poetry and Art, SWOPA, is an important destination for many tourists who come to the Upper East region. The traditional hand paintings which give the walls here a captivating combination of brown, black, and white colors make it impossible for visitors not to notice this home of art. Located at Sirigu in the Kasana-Nankana West District, SWOPA is a place where different kinds of local art products are made by women. 20 years ago, this place was only an idea in the mind of Madame Melanie Kasisi, a retired teacher.
So then, later on, when I went for teacher training, and then I went to Israel, I did kindergarten education. When I came back and I was about to retire, several things came into my head. One of them is, should I do, because I did kindergarten education for 1 solid year, or should I do the should I do the what we are now experiencing, SWOPA, Sirigu Women's Organization for Pottery and Art.
She recalls that she was motivated to start the Sirigu Women's Organization for Pottery and Art because of how much the sale of art products helped her parents to educate her.
And during my early days, I got a lot of help from my mother, who was a basket weaver, a potter, and a wall designer, and helped me a lot with the sale of the pottery, so that I could go to school in Nabrongo, boarding institution in Nabrongo, boarding institution in Jirapa, and then later on to Takoradi Teacher Training College. She was able to help my dad and really do a lot to help me.
Today, many women come to SWOPA to either get trained or to polish their talents in the making of various art products. Pottery, straw basket weaving, canvas paintings, and these beautiful wall paintings are some of the handiworks of the women here at SWOPA. Mama Kasisi, as she's popularly called, says young women must embrace traditional art as a means of self-employment rather than see it as a preserve for the illiterate.
One of the mistakes that school children made was that, oh, when you are going to school, you are literate, so you have nothing to do with making your hands dirty with pottery, with the clay, or weaving baskets, and that is for the illiterates. And I have gone beyond training college. I've gone to university. I've traveled far and wide to more than 7 countries in the world. I've come back and I've told, in my work, I've told the people that, yes, this is what we should hold with 2 hands.
She says the journey to getting SWOPA where it is now has not been so smooth, but she's proud that today a lot of women are being empowered through the organization.
If the women say, I cannot do anything, I've got a husband, and they are sitting down, then we are weighing down the pendulum. The men want to go up, and we are weighing down here. And God didn't give special head to a man or a woman. Everybody has got talents, and you use your talents in the best way possible. You develop yourself, you develop your community, your family benefits a lot, and Ghana stands to gain.
The women who work with Madame Melanie Kasisi believe that the 82-year-old woman cannot.
Really interesting story, isn't it? Today we are celebrating women because the world is marking International Women's Day. Today I've got with me MP for Afajato South, Angela Oforiwa Alorwu-Tay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For joining us once again. I beg your pardon. Sorry about that. So we've been talking about women in this country. You shared your personal experiences with us, having to do with culture, losing your husband, and also speaking a bit on your job as an MP in Parliament. But do you get support from the men?
Oh yes, I mean we get support from the men. They are ready to guide us and then I mean kind of teach us, especially those of us who are new. Some of the proceedings or whatever we do in the house, you really need to understand them. Where I sit, you are not too sure about, even though you have read about it. So they help us. They help us a lot. At the committee level, the reports, I mean, for instance, my committee, the Employment and Social Welfare, the committee chair will personally call you and ask you to read the report because he will want you to contribute. And so that should tell you that they are very ready to assist or help us.
Interesting, you talk about that. Let's delve into recent arguments on women and our role and what we are actually supposed to be doing, especially in the home. You have those who believe that it is the responsibility of women to cook, and others think no, it's actually a life skill. Let's give it to both male and female. It's something that everybody should know how to do it. You're a mother, you have boys, you mentioned.
Yes.
When you hear all these arguments coming through, what do you think?
I think everybody should cook, but the question is, will everybody be around at the same time to do the cooking together? No. There are times you will be in the office and the man will be in the house. And so if the man is in the house, then he should do the cooking. And also, what arrangement have you made for the man to be able to cook? Is he the one who will go to the market and buy the things? Yes, it's no crime to do so. But you know, men, he might not go. But then if everything is in place for him for instance, to open the fridge and get vegetables and whatever and parboil it down for you, if you call him nicely, he will do it for you. I taught my kids how to cook because I do not have a girl. And so all my boys can cook and cook very well. And so my late was cooking also. But in some homes, the men will just not get up from where they are sitting. That one is bad. That one is very bad. And so we must all cook.
Mm. Women like yourself in politics and who have experienced what you have and sailed through are usually described as proud, haughty, insensitive. I can see the smile on your face. I'm sure you've heard that a couple of times. Yes. How do you deal with that?
You just have to take it and move on. Are you going to listen to it and go back, or you want to go forward? They said we should press for what? Progress. That is the theme for the celebration. If you allow it, it will pull you down. Just hear it and move on. Mm. And then please don't prove them right. Just be yourself, respect everybody, and move on.
I like that. Don't prove them right. All right, so today the focus is on women. And on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM, it was hosted by Alorwu-Tay, chairperson of Ghana's Electoral Commission. She was joined by like-minded women, and the discussions focused mainly on women and girls. Here are the highlights.
It's heartbreaking.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, heartbreaking that teachers who are supposed to know better, who are supposed to be role models,
who are supposed to protect the children,
supposed to protect the children, take advantage of young girls. It's unbelievable, and I don't know why in 2018 that is happening. For instance, I saw the release from the Ghana Education Service when that story broke, and I felt that in that press release, the Education Service should have held on to the name of the young lady. The name was released not long after people found pictures of this young girl. Number one, she's being victimized in the media. There were media houses that went ahead to publish her name. That is irresponsible. So the girl, number one, started off as a victim. Yeah. She was taken advantage of. And then for society to protect her, that didn't happen. Her name is out there. So for the rest of her life, the internet will not forget. Yeah. Her name and her pictures will be there forever. And so when girls suffer such trauma, and they even go through such problems in schools, they are unable to tell anyone. Because if you tell somebody, they are going to straight away run to the media.
I'm not even sure it's just girls in school. I think even women in the workplaces face the same issues.
But I don't understand why that still happens. A girl goes to the police to report rape, and the first question they ask, why should my choice of clothes be the reason why a man cannot keep it zipped? Why should I be attacked because I decided to wear a miniskirt or a tight trouser or even a bubu?
It's very prevalent because even beyond sexual harassment, if you even talk about women in the public space, they will discuss their appearances and their clothes before they will discuss the actual work that they are doing. And you never hear people do that to male people in the public space, males in the public space. We would criticize a lady for dressing too ostentatiously, not being Islamic enough in her dressing. Yeah. But we never pass that on to the males. Mm-hmm. I've never had a discussion on any male public figure.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, I see you smiling.
You opened the floodgates for me.
That is her area.
As I was driving here, I was actually thinking, why is it that women in the public space are so judged by their appearance, their marital status, their motherhood status? Then we go to their parenting status, because if they are a mother and they are hardworking and successful, hey, who looks after her children? Her children are neglected. So on every front, the woman is criticized far more than her male counterpart. I mean, I don't know the last time I read a news article that started with the bald-headed minister of state or the pot-bellied minister of state. But you see,
they're shabbily dressed.
Yes, but we are always judged on certain factors which really are irrelevant to the work we are doing.
And then for most women, they'll ask, so what does your husband do? I get that a lot. I never had it asked of any male in the public
Even
field.
interviews, you get asked what your husband does.
What does my husband do? Yeah.
Wow. How relevant it is, you don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
If you have children, you're a bad mother. If you don't have children, that's the witch walking there. Yeah. So we women, we really do have a lot. But hey, ladies, we're still waiting to hear from you.
Yeah.
Please send us WhatsApp messages. Yeah. You can reach us on Twitter, on Facebook. We're live on Joy FM 99.7. This is the International Women's edition of the Super Morning Show. And this year our theme is Press for Progress, and we're certainly pressing. We're also live on Joy News TV. We're live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. And of course, you can reach us on Twitter and on all the social media handles. So
I'd like to just share another perspective. I think, I find the issues of sexual harassment alarming, and I'm distressed by it. But
with this school one, if we can zero down on this school issue, what can we do? What should we be doing?
So I will take it from the empowering children, not just girls, boys and girls, to stand up, for themselves.
But these girls have tried to speak up, at least at the committee level, and they're being victimized for speaking up.
So I'm trying to address not just this incident, but look at it broadly and tackle it before it becomes, so we can avert or we can minimize the incident. And I'm thinking that at home, we have responsibility. Even that teacher has a mother. What goes through my head is, what role did this mother play in making their son think that, yes.
But you see, your comment just, what role did his mother? Why are you putting it on the mother?
Where's the father?
No, okay. What role did his father play? Because he's a man.
Woman. Oh, no, because I'm a woman, so I'm seeing it from my point of view. But yes, it's a valid point. I'm talking about home. So home is both
the socialization.
Yes, exactly. So socialization, from home. And for me, it's about handling that, not just focusing on the girls, because I have both a girl and a boy. I'm not going to leave the boy, because I don't want the boy to turn out to worry somebody.
No, but I think I get your point in the sense that your son would not come home with that kind of story. That's your point.
Yes. No, yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to come back home and meet...
He should not. Yeah. And I have a responsibility as a mother, to ensure that I inculcate in him the values that will make him grow up to be a responsible person.
But my concern is beyond all that. So I send my child to school, and I have 2 daughters. I send my daughter to school, and she is abused by a teacher. We're supposed to be protecting her.
Yes.
What action should we be demanding as women on behalf of these young girls? Because you see, if it doesn't stop now, when is it going to stop? We're going to come back next year and be pressing for progress. We need to start demanding actions that bring an end to this now. I would have hoped that at the very least, some action would have been taken to make sure that these girls are not in contact with these teachers on a daily basis. Because I'm putting myself back to being 15, being 16. I could not survive having to see teacher. And the teachers, they're kind of like, they're supporting each, it's a group. How does this child feel getting up in boarding school every day and having to go to classes and face teachers that you've gone to testify against? These are not adults. These are kids. So what actions can be taken? Auntie B, let's hear from you, please.
Let's go down to the school, and then let's view or look at it in this way. Who are international NGOs? Who are they? What are their work? You see, in as much as the doctor cannot operate on his or her child or her wife or his wife.
That's the Queen Mother of the Makala women, and she's got Auntie B. That's the panel of on the Super Morning Show this morning, hosted by EC Chairperson Alorwu-Tay. This year's conversation on women and celebrating International Women's Day is on the theme Press for Progress. So finally, to my guest in studio, MP for Afadjato South,
yes,
hashtag Press for Progress. What should we be doing so that a year from now, when we sit here and we talk about women, especially in Ghana, our role in the various sectors, to see progress, what should we be doing?
Pressing for progress. Women. There are two categories. One, those we saw on TV, the upper class, those who are already managers, workers, teachers, nurses, one group. The second group, I would say, is those in senior high, training college, the younger generation. So if you ask me, I would turn Press in Progress to educate those at the bottom to gradually join the ones up, because the ones up are less than 20% or between 20 and 30%. And so the rest 70 should be well educated and then mentored to be able to get to where others are. Yes, some may be ready to learn, but do they have the means to help? So those who have the means should be able to stretch their arms to those who do not have.
Women supporting themselves. Thank you very much. Hashtag Press for Progress. Thank you, MP for Afadjato South, Angela Oforiwa Alorwu-Tay. We'll take you now to the office of the First Lady. There's a program in commemoration of International Women's Day.
The Republic, Hajia Alima Mahama, how could I have missed that? She deserves a huge round of applause. She actually happens to be my mom as well. We acknowledge your presence and we're really grateful that you're with us today. We are live on GTV. You see why you should pay your TV license. And we're also live on Multimedia Joy News. Our hashtag for today's event, if you want to join the conversation, is hashtag Press for Progress, hashtag Press for Progress with Rebecca.
Yabba mo tontan mo padia mo fo akyekere yabba no boa ya kyekere ne kyenku ewi mo tontan ni na fa yemfua enti ba bia wo bia wani kruchi owitio etua de ekosi.
Now, on behalf of our First Lady, the nation's mother, our President's beautiful Rebecca Ekufuado, we would like to welcome you all to this year's commemorative event to mark the International Women's Day. A day set aside globally to have these kinds of conversations we are about to have that highlight women's achievement and also barriers that continue to hinder our full participation in society.
As Topane said, Yejina Urayo, Womanina Nabakopa, Warai Rebecca, now Kako, Akufuado, Emanina Nemo, Emma Wakwaba, your child Prusane, Emma Money, or Dragon, or Monimbo, the Omaya Bedri or Baba, Ukahubi, Money.
So last year, we gathered here and we committed to be bold for change. This year, the theme is to press for progress. Now, to achieve the parity we envisage, bold, sustained measures must be demanded and implemented. We all agree, as the President continues to reiterate, that education is the surest pathway out of poverty. Girls must get access to education and they must stay in school and not be married off. Indeed, a child has no business giving birth to children.
Kwasua dim fompa kwasua prena and money yo ana ye die wo ensie mo ye gina so ne aka se e waso oba bia roba enya kwanya kosuku esan se nwoma siamo ena ye die wo enwoma siamo ena nkoso ensoso ewo.
So today's conversation is to do two things. One, to highlight the issue of girl-child education and child marriages, and two, and most important, to solicit your personal commitment to push for this progress by adopting and mentoring girls to stay in school. you actually do not have a choice.
And then some funny, you know, see a bashana man, and Quanya, Aqua School. The Atusum, you know, say, oh, Baba Yansha, so dear Amo, baby, oh, Befato, also, now also for baby, our Potamo, what's here, Sadia Bay, Obasha, Bano, now what piano, now I send in crying, what Bonabaso, I'm on also by Sadia, Otier.
And now, with a round of applause, let's call in the program. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as I welcome Sabuki to regale us with a poem and we set the event underway. Many thanks for your kind attention. Welcome, Sabuki.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sabuki Osabute, a poet and a spoken word artist here in Ghana. And I must say, I'm very proud and I'm very glad to be here. And I want to congratulate Her Excellency, Madam Rebecca Ekufu-Addo, for undertaking this wonderful project and calling such a young, beautiful person such as myself to be a part of it. All right. So the title of my piece today is Pray for Africa and Why I Scream. 4 children, 40 women, 4,000 men, 40,000 bullets aiming at their foreheads, ready to scatter their skulls apart, ready to explode government properties, ready to fill the air with tear gases, ready to mount up rebel camps. The silent streets we all walked on is now filled with dead bodies, blood-filled gutters, suffocation in the air spaces, our ears plugged with the ambulance music, our eyes bleeding tears into our blood-soaked shirts. Things are falling apart. The center has been wicked with greed, hatred, jealousy, selflessness, power, drunkenness, and continency. It's time. It's time I speak out the 50 calories of anger left in me. It's time. It's time I speak out the truth, and I don't care if the truth falls on the heart down when I accept the truth. And the truth is, we've lost our sense of unity. No one wants to lose his or her integrity. So if it means slaughtering one another's head for breakfast, we'll gladly do so to protect our dignity. This is sheer insanity. Last night, a schoolboy was shot in the head in Mali. Same happened in Kenya, Burundi. Wiping of 100 souls at a go. I asked the professor if he heard the news. He shouted a big no. To outside to injury, he has checked his Facebook DP, only to be painted with different colors. He was busily praying for another country. I know some of you would disagree with me on this, but how can a mother feed other children when the tummies of her own children are drumming songs of hunger? And this is what is happening in Africa. African scholars teaching on African students across borders when the African child can recite a common S-O-So, G-O-Go, L-O-Lo, and we still rank low as the poorest continent. Our brains have been plucked out of our heads so the rest of the world can have a peace. And this must cease. Damnation to all those pseudo historians who think we don't have a history, but display our artifacts in their art gallery. You know what? If America can't forget 9/11, we also can't forget the slave ship transporting slaves from Elmina to Zanzibar. We can't forget the South African woman Sarah. We can't forget the Baz and Rosa. We can't forget Malcolm X's lost generation, people of our nation. It's time to come together as one. Nkrumah, Lumumba, unity, peace. Amen. And the last piece is for every woman here, and this is from me to you, and I really love you. They say I scream. They say I'm loud. Yes, I know I scream. Yes, I know I'm loud. Now I scream not because the vein on my brain is fractured, not because I have a submarine of words on my thick tongue to share with my listeners. I scream because there's a lot of head in here guarded, iced, caked, tough. Not even the biggest hammer in the world can have it worded. I scream because I don't have the right to say. When I want to stand and spit out what rightfully belongs to the Ekwet Bay Salad at the Malata market. You know, you cannot rob me of my confidence and clothe me with shyness, your royal highness. I plead with your indulgence. The fact I'm a woman doesn't mean mine is keep stirring, pudding, 24/7, the kitchen. The fact I have a hole between these great walls of China does not mean mine is to allow any testogenous carnivore to enter my territory. Don't even attribute my screaming as hereditary. I scream because I am tired of being oppressed, suppressed, depressed, just because my big mouth will not stop advocating for women empowerment. I scream because I have a dream that one day every woman will speak with power and confidence without being called a bitch. So next time, if you see me screaming like a lunatic who just broke free from an asylum, please don't be quick to judge me. Thank you.
You guys, we have a contract. It's a social contract. You're not allowed to be miserly this morning. Another round of applause for Sabuki. If you think it's easy to write a poem and recite it, try writing something on a blank paper. That's when you will see that it takes a lot of oomph to put words together. Beautiful. Sabuki, we celebrate your talent. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So it is the International Women's Day celebration today, and we are here being hosted by the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Ekufado. May I also at this point acknowledge the presence of the Second Lady of the Republic, Samira Baumia. Welcome, and thank you very much for joining us. This program has been proudly sponsored by La Palm Beach Hotel, Aya Naturals, Belakwa,
Mecom Ghana Limited, Printers Ghana Limited, Izon Ghana Limited. Abuafo Sonko, Wamo, any Shibomu, Yaboma Basso, Yadamasi, Yaniso.
We just gave some hotel free publicity like that. It is actually Labadi Beach that is sponsoring this event, Labadi Beach. Also, Teliva Skincare, Aphrodite Company Limited, Belshaw Limited, So Aesthetic and Carol's Daughter Ghana, Black Secret, Glitz, R&R, and Moments Chocolate. And we'll be telling you later in the program about this unique company called Moments Chocolate. They've tried and prepared some very yummy chocolates for us, but it's for a cause. And if you bought a piece of the chocolate, 50% of the proceeds is going into the Rebecca Foundation, which is supporting girls and women issues. So we'll encourage you to dip a little bit into your pocket and buy a bar or two and contribute to this cause that we are talking about.
Chocolate is from Queen Ayabonabasoi, Yashada Siena and Kama. Ghana neighbor and Samuel Jumani Benono. Nasa Obamodia is in Peswaka Crassi Dinudu, Adiano Tobia, a Sobian Faso, Ekoma, Rebecca Foundation, no, nowadays share a man, Mofra, and about time, and Ponto, Toby. There are
a few special groups here as well. I'd like to acknowledge their presence. We have ladies from Infanta Malaria Prevention. This is from when our first lady actually came from with her philanthropic work. And they're here as well. Shall you please wave and let's acknowledge your presence? There you are. There you are. Beautiful, classy, wonderful ladies. We thank you for the work you continue to do for Ghana. Savannah Women's Empowerment Group is here. Can we see you and acknowledge your presence? We are thankful for the work you do to end poverty across the nation. Savannah Women's Empowerment Group. So there they are at the back there. Well done, you. We have UNFPA is represented here. We thank you for your support. UNDP, Ghana AIDS Commission, TechnoServe, the Royal Commonwealth Secretariat, Women Caucus in Parliament. They are here as well, and we acknowledge your presence.
Queen Mother, Sahimano, Nanamano, Yamama Kwabas, Queen is so. Yamon Regimway, a dreaded for Yabuagana, Mokonama, a dreaded Moa, Yamama Kwaba, Yadama Social Bibinkumusua, Yamama Kwaba, and so.
We have Okaishi, did you mention them? Okaishi Women Association of Lady Pharmacists in Ghana. Are you here? You should be, unless it's your ghost representing here this morning, but we know you're here. We acknowledge your presence. SOS Children's Village as well is here today, and we have representatives for Gender and Development Initiative for Africa. You know that our president is the AU champion for gender, so there's a delegation from there as well. So time to proceed and invite our First Lady to give us her welcome address. And shall we, with a resounding round of applause, welcome our host for today, Her Excellency Rebecca Ekufu-Addo.
You may sit. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
I welcome you to my offices this morning. We were here last year, and we're back this year, and we shall continue to do women's work and make sure that women are recognized and are moved up the ladder. Your Excellency, Mrs. Samira Bawumia, wife of the Vice President, Your Excellencies, former First and Second Ladies of Ghana, Honorable Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, traditional leaders, members of the judiciary, development partners, panel members, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today is about women. It is a day on which we take a critical look at the barriers that impede the progress of women. The progress we have made so far and what more needs to be done. The progress we have made so far and what more needs to be done. So I will just say a few words and hand over to the excellent Matilda Asante to kickstart our discussions. Last year we met here with the theme, Be Bold for Change. At that event, we all pledged to take bold initiatives to ensure gender parity. I am happy to report that my charity, the Rebecca Foundation, has started a women's empowerment program called Telema, because, as we are aware, improving women's economic status ensures that we bridge the gender gap. So far, we have equipped 200 women in the eastern and northern regions with skills to improve their businesses and their family income. Again, we know access to quality health care for women supports gender parity. In response to this, the Rebecca Foundation has built a new and modern mother and baby unit and a pediatric intensive care unit for Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, and refurbished a facility for Abam Krom in the central region. Our other charity, the Infanta Malaria Prevention Foundation, constructed a chief's compound at Nanshegu in the northern region. We have also started a project called Reducing Malaria and Malnutrition in Priority Populations to improve nutrition outcomes for pregnant women and children. Many other participants at last year's event follow through on their pledges to support gender parity. I am happy to share a few with you. Josephine Drea has represented over 30 battered women in domestic violence cases in court. Albert Akwaku has, among other things, trained preschool teachers in a campaign to champion women's education. Maria Kwame has a new novel that addresses various themes, including gender inequality, to challenge prevailing social norms. Nana Kwesin has mentored JSS and SHS girls and women with life skills and supported school children with books and breakfast. As she puts it, and I quote, "To me, it's all about knowing oneself and having an education that gives you a platform to put oneself right where you belong." Nora Bannerman is focusing on education and a campaign against violence on children. There are many more, but time would not permit me to narrate all of them. The 2018 International Women's Day theme is Press for Progress. All over the world, we are experiencing strong and concerted activism towards gender parity. Today is an opportunity for us to add our voices to the discussions to get us closer to our goal. I certainly want my grandchildren to live in a Ghana where we have gender parity. So this year's theme, Press for Progress, speaks to something deep within me. For me, it means that we move in spite of the obstacles, that we push forward in spite of the resistance. It means we do not allow anything to stop us. Today, discussions will focus on two important and related issues: girls' education and elimination of child marriages. Why the focus on these two issues? Because education is a catalyst for the development of the individual and the nation. And even though UNICEF studies indicate a global declining trend in child marriages, we are still far from complete eradication. But as we all know, the longer a girl stays in school, the longer she delays early marriage and childbirth. This ensures a better future for her. I know we have free education up to senior high school level, but free education is only meaningful to those who take advantage of it. Unfortunately, girls more than boys are unable to advance beyond SHS as a result of poverty, early marriages, teenage pregnancy, and other socio-cultural factors. Some of the most developed countries like Iceland, Finland, Norway, and Rwanda are countries that have managed to achieve gender parity. This has been possible because of education and ensuring girls as well as boys develop to their full potential. It is in Ghana's interest to ensure both girls and boys develop to their full potential. We must therefore take deliberate steps to do what others have done. We have the policies, we have the laws, we have the knowledge, and we have the tools. It is time to act. Why? Because education makes girls heard. Education allows girls to be seen. It gives them a voice to shape their future. It gives that child the voice to say, no, I should determine who I spend my life with. Today we have policymakers here to tell us their strategies to ensure the elimination of child marriages and increased retention of girls in school. We also have very well-meaning Ghanaians to give us their perspectives on what ought to be done. Now, I know we will have a great discourse. That is good. We've been having these discourses for years. But remember this, beyond the discourse is a young girl who is not in school. Beyond the discourse is a young girl who dropped out of school because her community does not see the value in educating a girl. Beyond the discourse is a child bride. Beyond the discourse is a pregnant school dropout. So let's talk, but let's come up with action. Each of us must determine to do something to get our girls to go to school and stay in school. Each of us must determine to stop child marriages. Maybe you're asking yourself, what can I, an individual like me, do, given the enormity of the situation? I tell you this, I believe in the power of touch. Determined to touch a girl's life, maybe one life at a time, is all you can do. But the net effect of everyone touching a life is like the fluttering of 1,000,000 butterflies. It produces energy that no one butterfly can produce. That is why I have made a commitment to press for progress. My foundation is working with United Nations Population Fund in a program called Because I Want to Be. This is to get girls along the coastal regions of Accra to go to school and stay in school. Beyond this, we want to send a message of hope to our girls and to local communities, that every girl can be whatever they want to be, that every girl deserves to develop to their full potential, and it starts with education. If we don't act, our free education policy may not mean anything to these girls and their future. I would not be who I am without education. Neither would I be who I am today if I had been born in an environment where child marriage is the norm. So I am passionate about this project. Women must be seen, women must be heard. We should get to that day when equality for women is assumed. To get to that day, though, requires deliberate actions and steps. We have done enough talking. It is time to walk the talk. I will end by quoting Kofi Annan at the World Forum in 2000, and I quote, "No development strategy is better than one that involves women as central players. It has immediate benefits for nutrition, health, savings, and reinvestment at the family, community, and ultimately country level." Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A round of applause for our First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo. Walk the talk. Shall we repeat? Walk the talk. I can't hear you. Walk the talk. Are you hungry? Walk the talk. That's more like it. You know
First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo there delivering her speech ahead of a panel discussion to commemorate International Women's Day. She's been talking primarily about education and its effect on girls. She talks about child marriages, but also makes the argument, how can you deal with child marriage if you don't deal with education? And also talks about the fact that if young girls are put in school, there wouldn't be any need for marriage. We need to help our societies understand the purpose for marriage. I've still got the MP for Afatato South with me in the studio, and I'm just going to ask you briefly what your impressions are of what the First Lady just said.
Oh, impressive. I'm impressed, except that I will also ask you a question. After the last celebration, what have we seen and what have we done? She has given us a tall list of what she has done so far. Well, we have a population that has 51% of women, and so we really have to do more than this.
Obviously.
Look at the number of women sitting there. I would say the upper class. Let me put it in my own word, upper class. Where are the school kids to look at these women and say, I want to be like them?
But you could clearly see that the First Lady was encouraging the people there to be agents of change. And in fact, the goal is actually to get these people who are at the program to create a certain effect, a trickling effect down. You think that's not good enough?
No, but we've had this all the time from the International Women's Day is about 101 years old or something, and so from the former First Lady Konedu's time, then the Mrs. Kufuor's time, then Rodina's time, we've always had
but did we see
celebration.
Did we see people gathering this way, carrying it live on television for other people to see?
Maybe the difference is the live, carrying it live, but they've always had programs. So if they are carrying it live, what's the difference? The kids are in school now, and so are they going to play back or repeat it in the afternoon, if in the evening? If that is it, fine. But I am saying that we need to do more. We shouldn't wait for a day like
this.
What
will be more for you?
The more for me is that we need people and institutions to, on daily basis, go to the grounds where the women, the girls are, talk to them. Prostitution, is increasing at night. People should be there. We used to have a committee when I was an assembly person at LECMA, and we were working at night. The committee, every member of the committee will work at night, and then we were visiting sports where girls of 12 years were working as for money, sex-wise. So I think, yes, this is beautiful, it's nice, but let's go down. This celebration should have been maybe moved to a region, and then all school children brought, seated, then all these panelists seated somewhere. Oh, I want to be like the first lady. I want to be like the woman sitting there. It will help the situation, and the women there also sitting there. After today, you might not see a lot of them, even though she's urging them. Have they been empowered to do the job that she's asking them to do? We need to do more. We can only achieve what we want to achieve if we do more and work as one family.
Okay, talking about walking, the First Lady actually encouraged that we walk the talk. She says enough of the talk.
Yes,
beyond the discourse, there's a young girl, she says, who has just dropped out of school. Beyond the talk, there's another girl who is pregnant and needs some support, needs some direction. You're an MP. I'm sure you visit your constituency because we know some MPs.
Yes, I came back on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's
Tuesday
great.
night,
That's great.
Yes.
Tell me what you're doing in your own small way to reach the girls in your community.
Yeah. Okay. In my small way, I am taking care of girls who got pregnant during the BEC results. I started this from 2013.
Okay, before you became an MP?
Yes, when I was the chief executive of the district. Now, every BEC, I visit the schools to talk to the students on one. We have about 40-something senior high schools, so I go. And then you...
BEC or WASI?
BEC and WASI, the two.
Okay.
But then the problem is at the BEC level. I've never, in my 4 or 5 years of working in my constituency, seen a pregnant girl in senior high. It has always been. Last year, I counted 15. And so I take your number, follow up with a call to your parents to say that just after that, I will pay the fees. And I am paying the fees of about 4 now. The rest couldn't make it.
So that's one way to get them into school. Let's get back to the office of the First Lady. Right now, there's a panel discussion being moderated by Matilda Asante.
Okay. Married off as a child would have been deprived of their education. Please share that with our audience. Please take your microphone.
Okay, thank you, Matilda. I work with Comfort as I was introduced. Comfort is an organization that works to promote girls' education and women empowerment. As such, we just don't give scholarships, but we also look into issues, or we do a lot of advocacy around issues that affect girls' education. And one of those things is child marriage. So in the West Mamprusi district, a young girl of about 12 years was given out for marriage. She ran away at the first attempt.
That live feed coming to you from the First Lady's office here in Accra. Currently a panel discussion ongoing to commemorate International Women's Day. It's been moderated by Matilda Asante. We'll take you back shortly. But before we went there, you were talking about what you're doing to support young girls in your community. That's the Afadato South constituency. You mentioned that you're taking care of some of them in school. So while they are in school, what happens to their babies, these young girls who had children before going to high school?
In fact, I visited one on Sunday, and then when I went to the house, the first time I went to her school, a little girl was carrying the baby. What they do is that they bring the baby at 12 to breastfeed, and then at 9, then finally around 1:30, then she goes home with the baby, and then the person taking care of the baby. So I asked her, I said, "Oh, how are you doing?" She said, "It's very normal. I'm doing very normal." And so I asked her about the school. She said she's performing well, except that it's difficult for her to wean the baby from breastfeeding. And so we took a decision that we will have to make sure that she weans the baby well, because the mother is ready to take over.
Why do you think we have a challenge as a people having young girls go back to school after pregnancy?
It's the experience, the humiliation. You see, we need teachers, lady teachers, to be there for them, to talk to them. They should not be seen as bad girls. Because I believe that some of the girls in the schools do worse than what that person did and got pregnant. Do you understand it? So the lady who is pregnant is not a bad girl. Yes, she did something that put her into trouble. She should just be encouraged to remain in school. But what we normally do most of the time is that when it happens like that, you transfer them to a different school, so that nobody will hear the stigma, and then nobody will know their background, whether they have kids or not. Unless you go talking yourself, then they get to know that you have a baby at home. But is it a crime? No.
Pregnancy is not a crime, definitely. Yeah. But for many people who are strict on these girls, they think it serves as a deterrent to other young girls, because they say if you pamper them, for example, this young girl or these young girls you're taking care of who are pregnant, they have the MP taking care of them. At least they have someone to rely on. So others think when you do that, you're encouraging them. Be hard on them. Let them face life. They wanted to be adults after all. That's the argument some put across.
No, I disagree. If you do that, they will go and bring you more pregnancy. They'll go for the second one. Then they'll add the third one. Then they'll add the fourth one. You only have to be nice to them, but strict. And then talk to them on the need to be educated. You can't go that way. When they get to understand it, they will conform.
There's also another challenge for some women activists or advocates that have come across. They say, for example, sometimes it's difficult to get the women to patronize the seminars, the training programs that you believe will even help them. When you stretch out your hand, they hate it. They don't want to extend a helping hand. When you meet them halfway, they want you to meet them at the end. They don't want to come and meet you in the middle. Have you experienced that?
For instance, let me give a member of parliament, a female one, as an example. Maybe there is a program, and at that program, you have been invited for the program, but due to maybe a committee meeting that you need to do something or present, even though you are not the chair, you could be the ranking, present a report, you are unable to make it. So that one, seriously, the person is engaged. Some will also not go. But what do we need in all? If the person doesn't go, it means that she's not ready for the progress. And for someone to get to that level of not being ready to move for the progress or to move for progress means that the person needs to be talked to. We need to be meeting for conversation, for a conversation. It shouldn't only be on occasions. I said it earlier. If we have a group of women who maybe once in a month to meet, you talk about your issues, you talk about mine, you tell me that there is an MBA course somewhere that you should go, I can apply for, and there is a scholarship here, or maybe you have to go to your constituency and do A or B. Naturally, when there is a meeting or there is a seminar or there is a program, we will come. And so we also need that kind of environment. Some also have issues at home. The men will not allow them to go to wherever they want to go to because of the tag on women, especially the women politicians. We are tagged. And so when you bow to that, you will not move for progress. You just have to be yourself all the time. I keep saying, be yourself, move on, ignore the noise, let the noise hearers hear it, do not hear it, and move on.
What do you think is the biggest barrier to progress for women in Ghana?
The biggest barrier for us is that we don't have we are not holding each other's hand. Unity. Look, when I came to Joy FM this morning, almost all the ladies were smiling, you are welcome, you are welcome. You go to some other institutions and women will be looking at you in a certain way. It's not everywhere. And so the barrier is, if we decide that in Ghana here, my sister, we will be nice to each other. In the trotros, in the taxi, we will gossip about the men positively. Then the men will naturally feel it that when you see 2 or 3 women gathered, they are gossiping about the men. They will naturally draw to us, and we'll get to where we want to get to.
Could it be culture or education? For some people, the biggest barrier is culture, and so they're trying to break it. The thinking patterns, you know, the defined roles and responsibilities. But for others, it's if for example, if you go and tell a woman in the village somewhere, or in any of the regions in Ghana, that you don't cook for your husband, tell your husband to also cook.
In fact, you go home.
But in that particular context, you have the man going to hunt and bring home. The woman is just at home. So what is the biggest barrier for us? What should we be dealing with first, education or culture?
We need to use the education to tell people what they need to do or what they can do as wives at home. In fact, when the man goes hunting, the woman is on the cassava or on the cassava farm working. And so, and just after that, going home, you see the woman carrying the load and the man is walking idle. And so the education should not only go to the women, it should also go to the men. Because I get surprised when you are walking around and you see a woman with a bowl of maybe full of cassava and her neck down this way, and the man is walking only with a cutlass in hand. At times maybe with a gun, one of those guns they use. And so as for the education, my sister, we need education for both sexes, male and female.
Well, education, you say we need it for both sexes, male and female, but definitely the conversation will continue. Beyond here, hashtag Press for Progress is the theme for this year's International Women's Day. The First Lady has spoken. She thinks we should do more than talk. She thinks that we should walk the talk beyond the discourse. We should reach the people who need our help the most. She's focusing on child marriage and education as the key pillars. We'll be taking a quick breather here.